not seeing the stream.
Oh, you know what? It is not streaming, but it will be.
Oh, no wonder. So Nicholas Schubert.
Now I'm going to paint the picture again. I can know what I did wrong.
Hello.
I was there. I felt like it was really happening.
Yeah, we were in it. So we are live now for real this time. Someone may or may not have remembered to hit the button. There's a lot going on tonight. But anyway, I'm Nerdarchus Dave with Nerdarchy for Nerds, by Nerds, and we're going to be playing some 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. And also, before we get started, we're going to go into the awesome intro. Now, after that awesome intro made by Steven, we're going to get started. I'm going to hand it over to our illustrious Dungeon Master.
Thank you so much. We're just going to dive right into this. So the sour, sweet smoke wafts through this red-painted, dimly lit lower level of a speakeasy. You see that the surrounding booths have shadowed patrons whose features you quite intentionally can't make out. This is the sort of place questions are neither asked nor answered. You need to have the word, the order, to be able to get in from the upper level, which is a very mundane tavern. At the head, on this stage-like platform, you have a sort of pseudo throne. It's a lounging couch, currently holding a corpulent woman wearing a purple dress, purple lipstick, purple eyeshadow. The top of her hair falls just to the tops of her ears, while the sides of her head are shaved. Each of you is here for your own reasons, and she looks over the three of you with a judgmental eye. Clearly, I need no introduction, but for sake of formality, my name is Madam Holiday, as I'm sure you know. Please introduce yourselves. You first, with the shiny armor, the knightly-looking one. What's your name?
Of course, you need no introductions, but I am Affinis, servant of the kingdom.
A servant of the kingdom, you say? I don't see many half-elves come down here, certainly not dressed like you. What do you need from me? Most people don't answer my ads looking like you.
I suspect not, but I had a life before this one that probably ran more akin to what you're used to. But then I did hear the calling of the crown, of the kingdom itself, not those that rule it, but the city and the cities, the people, the land calls to me to serve, and it has led me here.
I see. Well, perhaps then you may find yourself one day sitting before a queen. And you'll just have gotten in good beforehand. You, what are you? You look like a motley assortment of things, if I'm being honest. With the spell book, I presume that's a spell book. It's certainly decorated like one.
So the very tall, gangrenous, blue-gray skinned creature with a bald head, very long fingers, he brushes some of the sweat away and gives a stately bow. I am known as Fazifa, or Faz, if you will. I am, yes, of the more arcane nature. His long fingers deftly caresses the long oaken rod that hangs with a obsidian stone at the top of it. I am merely here to see if I might be able to convince you to help forgive a debt. Accidents are known to happen. Well, unfortunately, one has been placed the blame upon myself.
Accidents do happen indeed. In fact, I have been accused of being a purveyor of accidents. But as such, my immaculately manicured fingernails do reach long into certain parts that you might find necessary for your reward. And you, what? I don't get many of your kind either.
Yofaz emotionless black eyes flash under his hood, and she could see like a glint of bluish green scales over his face, but he keeps very hooded. And he says, well, the will of the serpent gods on the one hand led me here, but another way of looking at it is our mutual connections in the underworld uh, gave me a word of opportunities. So I found my way to see you, as I presume these others have.
I see. Well, as you know, Queensbridge is the city of pleasure, and we do purvey a great many pleasures. However, I have to say that my task involves a degree of my own pleasure. Tomorrow is my anniversary. I need a gift for my wife. And it just so happens that she has her eyes set upon a prized jewel, a gemstone of the utmost beauty, but it is located in a hard to reach place, which, as I'm sure you know, is why I sent out a call for wanted adventurers. You might say wanted adventurers being wanted is my business this evening. Therefore, I will test you to see if you are worthy of finding the place. The place you are looking for is black as night, even in the day. Once glorious and beautiful, it now holds no political sway. A great many creatures call it home, and yet to venture there is dangerous to roam. If any of you know where this is, that is where you must begin. And with that, I dismiss you. Feel free to enjoy yourselves here for however long you need, but bear in mind, I need that gift before midnight tonight.
It shall be done.
Madam, might we get that in writing?
Oh, of course, of course. And she motions with her hand, and you see this mousy looking halfling man bustle up, and he's got a quill in his hand, and he shuffles with these papers in a satchel before he ends up writing something out very quickly. And she presents each of you with a contract for you to sign.
I'm more interested in, what this particular jewel is, because she didn't really give much of a description and a clue of where to start. I've got an idea, but she's
That was a riddle. The clue was the riddle. That's what I was asking for in writing.
Oh.
So
that's what you wanted in writing?
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted the riddle in writing? She can absolutely give you the riddle in writing.
Yeah. I mean, how Phineas might not need it so much, but I think Dave does.
So any of you can choose to make an investigation or a history check to get a hint about this situation.
It's a 19.
19. Anyone get better than 19?
I'm proficient in both, so.
I size him up and say to
15.
myself, if the serpent gods have seen fit to provide these two servants in the quest, then this Faz looks capable enough. I'll let him decide.
Excellent. Well then, seeing as you three seem to have been paired together by my screening agent, you may be off at your leisure. And for you, you are Ufaz, correct?
Faz, yeah.
Faz. So Faz, you would be aware of what this is, being that you, Hafanas, have rolled a 15. You know that this is probably alluding to a place that has been infested, somewhere that maybe once was great or good. But Faz, you would know that there is a manor that is just barely on the outskirts of the city of Queensbridge, and it burned down several years ago. There is rumored to be a treasure in the depths of it, hidden somewhere. And you also know that it is infested with a great many animals and possibly other unsavory things, which is why many people don't go there anymore.
Oh, I was definitely not going to guess that riddle.
I knew the omens would lead us in the right direction.
Well, let
Real
us.
quick, Dave, what is it? A halfling? Is that what you said? I'm sorry. I just
Oh no, I'm playing a half elf.
half elf. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
And
my
am I guessing
my
you're-
description was lacking.
I'm guessing you're a Yonti there, Doug.
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess companions, fate has brought us together, and I believe the city itself has called to each of us to perform this deed. Though I know not what the ultimate weaving of this tapestry shall be. And Alphinius, marches to the door, pretty much getting ready to march out of the city. So it's kind of tall for a half elf in his gleaming plate.
I turn to Faz. I say, "It'll be full coin purses."
That is indeed the hope. But the adventure can be even more rewarding in itself than the rewards.
Indeed.
I'm a creature of the moment, if you will. But so quickly, sizing up my companions, we got a half elf that's bedecked in plate, and I'm imagining some kind of large weapon.
Shield and longsword and wearing chainmail.
Okay. We've got a Yonti with a longbow, I imagine.
A longbow, yeah, a breastplate, and just hooded cloak, and otherwise dark cloak, kind of gray clothes.
Also, whatever the sigil of the city is emblazoned upon my shield.
So Faz does not really have a whole lot of gear on him. He does have a small pack. For whatever reason, you do see that there are a pair of slits in the side of his elegant tunic. But beyond the gangly limbs, his torso does seem to be a little bit denser or thicker than his limbs would tell.
Okay.
But like I said, very little gear. He's got the travel spell book that's hanging off his waist, and the rod is a focus upon his other hip.
Once we complete this adventure, perhaps we can get you to a tailor to fix your clothes.
No, that is clearly intentional.
Really? Are you making some kind of fashion statement I'm not aware of?
So he'll, find something to, gain a little bit of height, 5 or 10 feet, and he just kind of gives a jump, and manta ray-like wings extend out of his side, and he just kind of glides down and traverses the distance.
Whoa, he's one of them flying squirrels.
I have no fear of falls, unless it's of a great length.
And you
So
were
I
able
presume
to.
you guys are walking along out of the speakeasy as this is
Yeah,
happening.
Yeah. We're moving in the direction of that
Okay.
that ruin.
Okay, I need chat while we're doing this. Give me some names of interesting monsters that you like from the monster manual that we would know the name of. Just throw those out there and we'll continue on. And when it comes up, it comes up. So, as you guys exit the speakeasy, you find that it is the wee hours of the morning right now. It's maybe like 4 a.m. at this point. The dawn is just breaking over the river. It's casting everything with this golden pink light, with the buildings, these tall, tall stacked buildings in hues of purple and orange. You see that the city of Queensbridge itself is quite literally built on and made into a bridge, where the main thoroughfare is the way you pass over the river. And there are adjacent cities at either end on the shorelines. You guys need to head to the west. So as you walk yourselves down these paved streets, you see the morning just waking everyone barely. You see the bakers begin opening their windows to cool breads for the morning breakfasts. You see merchants setting up shops in the bazaar towards the end of the city. You see that there are a menagerie of races represented here. In fact, Queensbridge seems to be especially diverse, more so than the rest of the human kingdom of Arcia in general. That's probably at least in part due to the very artsy sort of people that tend to come here. This city tends to be seen as extremely progressive and open and accepting of all sorts of different people, regardless of what kingdom tensions or politics may interfere with the rest of the world. You continue to walk down the streets and you find this large stairway that leads into the adjacent city proper. And so you walk down these stairways and you find yourselves in a much poorer district than living on the bridge itself. You see that here you have these strands of line just stringing between these tall buildings where clothes are draped down, still dripping, maybe on you if you walk underneath them at the wrong time. It doesn't smell nearly as pleasant. There aren't nearly as many bakeries. The bakeries that are here seem to be setting out foods that are maybe not quite as appetizing or as aromatic as were in the bridge portion of the city, the bridge district. Eventually you make your ways to the city gates. And from there you can see on a hilltop in the distance this manor, this burned down manor that is literally just outside the city. It's probably just outside its jurisdiction. You make your ways along the road, and as you are going along the road, I need everyone to give me a perception roll.
Okay. Use my Nerdarchy metal dice.
Ooh, nat 20, 22.
Oh,
Nice.
You're kidding. I got a nat 20 as well.
Really? I got an
23.
All
8.
right.
Nice.
So, as you guys are progressing towards this manor, you see a broken down carriage, and at least for your part, Hafanas and Faz, you see that there are people and movement around the cart. This is probably some sort of ambush related to highwaymen of some sort. You know that they wouldn't have known that you have caught on at this point.
I'm just oblivious.
I'll nudge Yufa.
Mm-hmm.
you fashat, and in the ribs, and kind of just like nod in the direction of the cart.
I immediately duck down and like slithery roll behind the nearest like log or something to like peer up at it. If there's anything like that nearby. Stump, a bush,
Is
and I begin tasting the air.
the cart around anything else flammable?
Yes, this is a lightly forested trail. So you do have just a little bit of a smattering of trees and brush around, but it's not so dense that you can't see the manor on the hill. But there are some bushes, there's some shrubberies, things of that nature.
Yeah, I'm diving into it.
Can we
The
like
is
make
up.
out someone in particular like that is involved with that we believe is part of the ambush?
Absolutely. In fact, you see a tail just wagging back and forth, a reptilian sort of tail wagging, just sticking out from behind the wagon just a little bit.
Okay, so I draw my longsword, point at the tail, and told the dead, the city herself speaks to me and tells me of whispers of your villainy. Change your ways as I have.
Okay, so you're tolling the dead. What is the DC on you for that?
15 wisdom.
I was going to, call them out and have them not waste their lives here, but oh well, it looks like we have gone too far. And I literally say that. So
So they rolled a 10.
Do they have a +5?
They do not have a +5. That was with their bonus.
So that is 2 points of necrotic damage.
2 points of necrotic damage. So how does your told the dead look exactly?
So, he points his longsword and then he like slams the hilt against the shield and it just kind of reverberates out to where he pointed the longsword at. And then, the vibrations of the sound kind of focus on that creature.
Okay. And so you see that the vibrations of the sound hit the creature, and these scales sort of lose a little bit of their sheen, their luster, as they just peel back a little bit, almost like autumn leaves. And you hear this loud, and you see the creature jumps out from behind now, and as well as two others. And you guys are face to face with 3 lizard men.
Okay.
Do lizard men typically live in swamps in your world?
They live on swamps or on rivers, and it just happens that Queensbridge is built over the river.
It is not too late for you, right? Nor do wells to slither back into the river whence you came.
Silence, food! Die! And they start running towards you. And it's initiative.
Okay.
Oh, that's bad.
I rolled a 12.
Mine might be worse, so I have a 5.
Mine's worse than that. 4.
4. All right, and what did you get, Dave?
12.
12. Okay, you're going first.
Alrighty then. So there's 3 of them?
3 of them.
You know what? I'm gonna rush it. I'm gonna rush up to them and meet them.
Okay.
And my longsword is already drawn. You were given your chance, and I swing. Oh, okay. That's a 19 to hit.
That definitely hits.
So I guess I'd swing at the wounded one for a whopping 7 points of damage.
Describe his gruesome demise.
So he kind of like that one was moving a little slower than others, so it was trailing a little bit. So he kind of like spins between the two, bringing up his shield as he does, and with the spin, the longsword just comes around and just lops the head off. So now he's kind of behind them, facing the other two. Their companion is, laying face down, except for the head is no longer attached, and so they are kind of between me and my companions now.
You see that the two of them look aghast at this, and they hiss loudly at you, and they start to run away. But with that, we have next up is going to be Ted. So as they are turning to run away, what are you doing?
So they began approaching. One of their companions died, and then they fled.
Yeah, or they're starting to. They haven't fled yet.
Oh, they have not
They're
fled.
turning around to flee.
All right, well, nuke them.
Firebolt,
Fire, yeah. That's a 14 to hit.
14 will absolutely hit.
That's 10 points of fire damage.
Describe his grisly demise.
So as he begins to turn, Foz just, he's got he conjures the rod, and the obsidian tipped, glows red, and a bolt of fire just burns and launches straight at him, hits his chest, and it just begins to like melt through, and he just slumps to the ground.
Okay. So he is now very much dispatched. There is one left. And Yofa, as you see this last one is turning, what are you going to do? They got a 2 for their initiative, by the way, FYI.
Oh, really? He actually, it says mutters a sort of a question to the serpent gods of like, if it's truly worthy of the hunter to kill this, and then he decides, yes, it is. And so he get an 18 to hit with his longbow from behind
Absolutely
his log.
hit.
And that is 9 points of piercing damage.
Describe his grisly demise.
As that thing's running, just an arrow comes out from behind some brush, and he's just sort of muttering himself to fly true, and it whizzes between Faz and Halphinius and just hits him in the back of the skull right at the base, going into its medulla oblongata and killing it instantly.
And you hear this loud hiss just sort of burble out as he falls and slumps down. Blood now smatters the sandy ground with much like paint from a shaken brush. And you guys are now standing before these 3 would-be assailants who never so much as were able to attack you at all outside of threaten you and call you food. And there is a cart nearby, and there is your path ahead.
The irony is they were looking for food, and now they are themselves food for worms and vultures.
What are they equipped with?
So each of them has a crude club and a knife that would functionally be a dagger.
And the cart that's there, is there anything actually on it, value or interest?
Make an investigation check.
Happily. 19.
So you do see a dead Nothic inside, as recommended by Eric Simonis. And on the Nothic, you find that the Nothic is wearing a ring of some sort. It appears to be gold. It has a small blue gem inside it. You find other jewelry in boxes. It seems that this may have been looting the cart when it was killed.
Are there any signs of whose cart it was? Like any, humanoid beings or a scuffle or
Markings.
Yeah.
Give me an investigation check as well.
17.
17. You do see that in one of these trunks that was holding clothes that are now scattered and thrown throughout, there have been stuffed some bones that are mostly clean. And they have like bite marks on them. And whoever's cart this was is probably long gone. You do also find a set of papers, which seems to be deliveries, so that has addresses and places that things need to go. And between the two of you with your investigation rolls, because they're both pretty good, you can gather this was some sort of jewelry vendor or jewelry crafter who was delivering their wares to Queensbridge when something terrible must have befallen them.
Well, if there's no jewels here, then perhaps whoever got them.
Oh, there are jewels here. I'll open up the box.
Oh yes.
I was
yes,
too busy
there are
looking
jewels
else.
here.
Oh,
Yep. You can
looks-
find.
it looks like even if we don't find the jewel from Madame Holiday, we'll ourselves have had quite a gem-filled evening.
You can find 1,300 gold worth of jewels in total on the whole cart.
Wow.
And papers that tell you where all of them need to go.
Oh, look, excellent. We can return them to their rightful owners.
We could.
But we have a quest to do first.
What's it like, to the side of the road? Is it like pretty clear? You said it was like lightly forested?
Lightly forested, yeah. There's a river like a quarter mile that way, but it's pretty close.
So I'm going to go just to the edge of the road and stuff. And I want to use prestidigitation to just create like a sort of, we'll call it a scent that snakes and things could detect, like on that spectrum, to just let them know like there's food here, like in bodies, just to sort of attract them if there's any nearby.
So 2 questions, Stephen. Is the ring with the blue gem listed in the delivery, or was that something apart from? And does it have like any amount to be paid upon delivery, or is it just say delivered to such and such address?
Each of these have an amount to be paid upon delivery, and it seems to be half of what was totally going to be paid.
Okay.
And yes, the ring is among those.
Okay.
Oh, so even if we deliver these, we could still make a tidy profit and, to your point, do but good by the city's business.
I could also, when next we decide to rest, we could look and see if there is any magic about these, especially if we're not going to take them back now. If there is magic about it, perhaps they might be able to aid us in our quest.
Mm-hmm. And those bones look like they've been dead for some time. What's the rush now? We have to be back by midnight.
Indeed.
Time is of the essence.
So you guys continue on then?
We do.
So I will put on the blue ring.
Okay. It looks really nice. It's very pretty. You go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Can do that. That is the third 13 I've rolled. That's another 19.
Okay, so you know that while this is not magical, there is a pair of gemstones that work much like sending stones do, except they don't have the limited usage. And aside from that, you don't find any of these jewels or jewelry to be inherently magical.
Okay. I was going to say, I was going to cast Detect Magic, when we took a break, but.
You mean like you have one half of a sending stone pair?
No, there's a sending stone pair.
Oh, there's a pair. Oh, okay. I was like, ooh, who's on the other line?
Yep.
Oh.
So you guys continue on towards the manor. The iron gates that would normally close this stone wall exterior are bent and broken open. And there is evidence of foot traffic, especially like wild animals coming through here. You make your way up to these charred doors. You see that half the manor is like more or less non-existent, as it's just ruined fragments, and the other half appears mostly intact. It doesn't smell burnt anymore because it's just been here so long. And you make your way up to the double doors, which are locked. There are windows that are broken into and things on the one side, though, or broken out, I should say. So how do you guys choose to venture forth?
So looking at this, I'm going to say that, problems will be ahead of us. I'm going to go ahead and cast Mage Armor.
Okay.
You seem to decipher that riddle very quickly, Faz. Do you know anything about this manor? Who lived here?
That is a 24.
A 24.
Oh,
Okay.
For history.
So before we get to that, chat, I need you to give me a color and a number. But as for you, Foz,
Monty's telling me I'm looking around to see if there's any kind of like, home security system before I bend down to try and pick that lock, but I'll let him just tell me.
Makes perfect sense. So you would know that this was once the home to a family known as the Blackmore family. They were very affluent, actually, and they had their hands in a lot of the politics surrounding Queensbridge without being part of the city in all technicality, which made them weirdly influential and powerful on their own because they were separate enough to not be able to be touched by certain things. You also know with that role that they were affluent spellcasters, being that they didn't really need much protection from the city. They were very capable of handling things on their own, and they were known to be just a bit more than eccentric.
So it makes perfect sense. This is something that I would have studied, considering their magic relation, their interest in experimentation definitely fits with a Simic, and one who belonged to a group of experimenters. Is my background. So he would go on to probably detail, possibly citing family members, some of the experiments that they had attempted or were known for. Possibly like you see a gleam in Faz's yellow eyes as he begins lavishly telling this tale.
And they're all dead now.
And I need to also get an investigation roll from Yufa or Yofa. Is it Yofa?
Yeah. That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. You do find, in fact, that it seems that the locking mechanism here, while very ornate and decorative, is also mechanical in some nature. And when you examine it closely, you do just get this strange, almost metallic scent that is created by latent but yet still vaguely active magic.
Yes, despite the decrepit nature of this house, it appears there is still some magical protections.
While he's dealing with the door, I want to go to one of those broken windows and look in.
Okay. So go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Hey, stop that.
That's a 14.
14. So you look into one of these broken windows and you see that you're looking into what looks to be a burned up dining area. There is a crashed chandelier on top of the table, and the ceiling where the chandelier was is non-existent and leads up into a darker room you can't see quite well enough. The dawn is still breaking, so it's not quite light enough to see super well in here. It's dimly lit. You do notice that the place as a whole seems to have been through a quite violent fire where people were knocking things over because there are chairs knocked over, things of that nature. And you catch just the faintest movement from inside, though it's too shadowed to really make out well.
There's something in here.
I'm gonna. Is the window he's looking at like near the door?
Yes, it is. It's probably about 20 feet away.
Oh, okay. I think I can open this, but might want to step back just in case, Faz. The serpent gods will protect me. I'll try to pick it quietly.
Okay. Go ahead.
Come on, serpent gods. I'm gonna charge it up with positive energy.
Make a stealth roll since you're trying to do it quietly.
I'm good at that. Ooh, that is a 22.
All right. And you're proficient in thieves' tools, I presume?
I am.
All right. Then you won't have disadvantage on that roll. So you just got a 22 and you successfully picked the lock.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, that was stealth. Should I do my like a separate roll, or I mean, it would have been the same bonus anyway. It would have been 22.
You pick the lock and
Okay.
you do so because you were trying to do it stealthily. You catch. Now comes the fun part for inspiration and how I do inspiration.
Okay.
It's like how Cypher System does it. I do GM intrusions.
Okay.
But the intrusion here, it affects you, so you can give an inspiration to somebody else and take one for yourself.
I'll give it to Faz since he was in that scene with me.
Okay. So the intrusion is that when you pick the lock successfully, you realize in order to finish successfully picking the lock, there is a mechanical trap that is going to sound an alarm. So you can allow that to go off and turn it, or you can choose to back off and not finish picking the lock without some sort of magical intervention.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I don't want to cause an alarm. So
Okay.
just like if as you just see him sort of like tense up real quick and just like slowly back away stealthily.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll tell you, like, yeah, there's some sort of magical alarm on the door, which is kind of weird because it looks like you could just crawl in through that window that Phineas just was looking at. Unless that is also alarmed. This whole porch could be alarmed.
Well, once
I'm quite alarmed.
Yofa says that, I'll look at the windowsill and the ledge to see if I notice anything.
Okay. You do see there's like a little bit of glass, but it's the sort of thing you could scrape away with your sword, your shield, whatever, if you want to.
Yeah. I'll pull a dagger and start like prying out the glass to try and quietly remove it.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Oh, I can do this at
Are you
disadvantage.
in thieves' tools or anything of that nature? Any sort of tool
I do
might
not.
help? Maybe
He's an
carpet
upstanding
tools or
citizen.
something.
Well, here's a stealth check. This is probably not going to be great. So that's a 5 and 11, so 5.
Okay.
So, and I'm just using my dagger. So I imagine like he's trying to do it quiet, like, but pieces of glass are just shooting out of the windowsill like projectiles.
Yep. You both hear the glass breaking and shooting in different places just over where he's messing with the window.
So I'm gonna ask this question while he's off playing with glass. I actually have alarm in my spell book.
Mm-hmm.
I am knowledgeable about the spell. I know like it takes a while to cast and lasts for hours. Looking around, are there any signs of recent travel in this area? As well as like, can I sense the magic of this to see if it's like the spell that I am familiar with, or is this something bigger, greater, deeper, what have you?
Sure. Give me an Arcana check.
16.
You are fairly familiar with this, and it is a simple alarm spell. You could probably even disarm it yourself if you wanted to with that roll.
If I have got the capability of shutting it down, I will shut it down.
Okay, so you go in, you just finagle with things, you pluck on the ethereal magic as you snip the wire that you find just barely in between the doors, and easily enough to do. By the time you let the magic go, it just dispels harmlessly, and the lock can now be picked properly and stealthily.
I believe you are free to finish with the lock. I suspect that the magic is dealt with.
The serpent gods provided the correct servants to me. So yeah, I say as I just sort of hunched over to do my work.
Okay, give me another stealth check.
Okay. 13.
13. You manage to pick the lock, and you don't seem to have alerted anyone.
Cool.
The alarm being gone really helps there. Meanwhile, you have Hafanas currently messing with the glass, and the glass is mostly gone.
Gonna climb through the window.
Okay,
They're
you
probably
climb through the
coming in
window.
at the same time and just like look over. Like, I could have.
So, Hafanas, what is your passive perception?
It is a 12.
12. Okay. So as you hear this loud from the doorway opening, and you see this sliver of light breaking into this entryway that you have a direct line of sight to, thanks to the entryway to the dining room being fairly close, you see motion and movement start flapping and fluttering. You hear like this leathery beating, and you see 7 pairs of red eyes up overhead begin fluttering towards the light. And I need everyone to roll initiative again.
I really am feeling like I'm in this place. Very descriptive.
Man, I am not doing well. My Nerdarchy dice must love you guys and hate me tonight because I'm doing very badly.
That's a natural 20, which gives me a 20 on initiative.
I got a 7. I got a 17.
I also got a 17.
Okay, who has the better dex mod? Or you can
That's
just
going to be him.
I got +2.
I got +1.
Okay, so Hafanas is first. Hafanas, you see this happening, and you know exactly what these creatures are. These are owl bats, and they are terrifying creatures that love to eat meat, and they hate to be disturbed while they're sleeping.
Beware! Owl bats are upon us! And I will cast Toll the Dead.
They're the mortal enemies of snakes. Always plucking them off the ground.
Yeah, 9. I am doing badly tonight.
I don't mind. Take it. And that'll be 5 points of necrotic damage.
5 points of necrotic damage. So how does this look as you hit this owl bat?
Yeah, it's always the same. He just kind of like points his sword and calls to the spirit of the city, and then rings the hilt of his long sword upon the shield, and it sends out those vibrations towards just the one creature.
Oh, and so you do that, and this owl bat seems more agitated than anything else. You see that its leathery wings just sort of like start to get a little veiny in the light of this cracked sliver as it starts getting ready to swoop. And we are next on to Yofa.
I'm going to make a lore decision, at least for my headcanon, that Yuan-Ti or owl bats are the just nemesis of snakes everywhere, because they pluck them off the unassuming snakes right off the ground as they're just going.
I dig.
And he hates them, so I am going to quickly go into my kneeling action pose and shoot a bursting arrow at the flock of them.
Oh, and they are clustered, so go for it. How big of a is that?
It's after the arrow hits a creature, the target and all of the creatures within 10 feet of it take 2d6 force damage.
Oh my! Well, you can hit all of them.
To hit that is 19.
19, that definitely hits.
Okay. That's gonna be it's gonna be 11 damage to the one it hits, and then another 3 force damage to all the other ones.
Oh,
Within
okay.
10 feet.
So describe how you kill the main one.
Yeah, he just calls on the serpent gods for a special blessing for this arrow, and against their hated enemies, and it just goes right through it, and then when it comes out the back, like the back of it, just bursts into this psychic bomb that causes pain to the other ones. They feel the
Okay.
pain of the snakes and snake people everywhere.
So you see from your vantage point, Hafanas, you got a very clear vantage point here. You see this arrow fly in and one of these just immediately drops and thuds onto this mildewed, half-eaten carpet floor. And there are only 6 now, and they are not looking very happy. Actually, how much damage did you do with your Toll the Dead?
5.
5? Oh, you know what? You killed another one too then. So there's 2 of them that are dead, in fact. So you guys are only facing 5 now. So now it is up to Foz.
I say, come and get me out.
So there's 5 of them. How
Mhm.
are they?
How far?
How far away?
Like from you, or are they clustered together, do you mean?
Oh, no, how far from us?
How far from you? They're maybe like 30 feet.
Okay. And is there anything that I can kind of get behind as cover?
Yes, there is actually, because you're in the doorway. You can hide behind the door.
Right.
You can
So
go
I will
side.
I will unleash a ray of frost at the one at the back.
Okay.
Like, slow him down enough. Does a 24 to hit and 7 cold damage.
So how do you want to kill that one?
So he basically just frosts over, hits the ground, and the pieces begin cracking as is that full of cold.
So spatters of frost just fleck against the 2 of you that are just a little bit more in the room. And there is another one dead. So there's only 4 left. And it is their turn to go.
And I will absolutely use the door for whatever kind of cover you allow.
Okay, so all 3 of you need to make a charisma saving throw.
Oh, these are not just mundane beasts. 9.
Also a 9. I rolled very badly.
I rolled better. That was a 10.
Okay, so all of you hear this ethereal sort of like triple tone screech pierce through the air as this one opens its fanged beak and just unleashes this terrifying, almost like snickering howl. And all 3 of you are afraid. And then we are going to have one that is going to swoop at Foz. But Foz, you have 3/4 cover. Nope, absolutely not. In fact, that one rolled a 1, so he's going to smash into the door and take 2 points of damage as you duck behind the door really quick and you feel this thud just against the wood door that you're kind of bracing behind now, and it flops onto the floor, but it's now like kind of flopping, trying to get itself aright. Another one is going to go for Yofa, because you are their mortal enemy. Does a 13 hit your armor class?
No, it does not.
Okay, so it swoops and it flies out and begins flying away. You're not sure where, but you can get an attack of opportunity off if you want, because they are big enough for that.
Oh, hell yeah. I know where it's going, in a grave. That's where it's going. I was like, please don't miss. Let's see. 17 plus something for... 23.
That'll hit. Roll your damage.
9.
9. Describe its gruesome demise.
Yeah, it thinks it's going to get away from my serpentine vengeance, but I will not let that be so, and just put another cloth yard shaft right through a fleeing enemy's back as it flaps to the ground.
All right, so it flops down on the ground, and this is you and Foz are the first two to really get a real good look at this thing. So it's actually got this black body that has a mash of like fur on the front part, but then it's got like these feathers on the back part.
Okay.
It has these huge ears that come up and these massive eyes like an owl. But then it has this elongated beak that has like fangs, and the shape of it is almost like a woven snout. It has these long wings, these long bat-like wings, and it has a total of 4 talons, so that it could, in theory, actually walk sort of like a dog, but on taloned feet. And these talons have these razor-sharp claws. So it's just very nasty. You don't want to fight these things, but they're apparently fairly fragile.
I hiss a curse in abyssal at its corpse.
And the last one is going for Hafanas. Oh, natural 2. My gosh, there's no way I'm hitting you. So this other one is swooping on you and just barely missing, even scraping on your armor. So your armor is not even getting a little bit of a scratch on it as it's just swooping back and forth. And we are back up to the top of initiative. So that would be Hafanas again. So you are facing one of these now.
All right, it is injured, so I am going to toll the dead.
Okay. So go ahead. Oh, I have to make a saving throw. That's what it's
natural. I would have had
disadvantage.
disadvantage. I would have had disadvantage on that, Stephen, because I was frightened. I'm just gonna roll again.
Oh, yep.
It was even higher roll. It was like 25. So
okay.
Sorry.
I got a Nerdarchy N, so that's a natural 20. So
that's a nothing.
Do you have anything else you can do for a bonus action?
No, I'm not going to do anything else. I guess, you know what? Is it near me or
it is?
Are they swooping? Okay.
You can definitely get a melee attack if you want because it's swooping on you.
Well, that's my action, so I'm good.
Okay. All right. So next up we are at Yofa. Is Yofa the next one?
Yeah. So actually, after getting a better look at that thing, even though I knew what it was, he's never faced one before. So he is like, to account for his frightened behavior, so kind of like back up quickly out of the door because they were just swooping around in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how many are left?
You have 3 total left. One that's flopping on the floor, one that made the screech, and the one that is currently swooping on Hafanas right now.
I am going to try to shoot the one that's swooping around Hafanas.
All right.
And I'll say, get back. Faz, don't let them get near you. They're terrifying beasts. And that is a... Oh, wait, it's disadvantage. Sorry. Oof. We got 12.
12 is exactly what
you make everybody bad at math. Like just even 2 numbers adding together. Like 6 and what's 6 and 6? Sorry.
You're good. You hit it.
Oh, really?
Yes, you hit it.
It was a little off though. 6 points of piercing damage.
6 points of piercing damage. Okay. And you were shooting at the one that's on Hafanas right now?
Yes. Yeah, I was just waiting for it to be a clear shot. And
all right. So you do not quite kill it, but it is like on its last leg right now.
Okay.
And you're getting blood just splattering all over the place as it's flying around.
Yeah, I know what that's like to have a bleeding flying around your head. If I have any movement left, I'm going to like back out the door frame though, and just like, so I'm not in their sight.
Okay. Easy enough to do. Next up, we've got Foz.
So I'm going to look at the one that is that screeched at us, the one that's, I'm terrified of or frightened of. And I'm going to back up so that, I'm, further away. I'm going to launch a bolt of fire at him.
Okay.
I don't like what I got there, so I'm going to turn in that inspiration that Yofa gave me.
Oh, cool.
roll again. So that is going to be a 17 to hit,
17 will hit.
but a piddly 2 points of fire damage.
Piddly, 2 points of fire damage. Okay, so just as it sort of almost like flame kisses the thing, but doesn't quite ignite it.
And then I will basically put my back to the wall of the house so that they can't see me. They'd have to come out of the house in order to get me.
Okay.
When he ducks out there, I see him out there and be like, he'll be fine in there.
All right. So you have 2 remaining, I do believe. Three. Oh, that's right, because I keep forgetting about the one flopping around.
Yep.
Because it didn't quite die. So that one actually is going to right itself and take off. So it's now flying around. And it is going to swoop on probably Hafnas. That is a 17 versus your armor class.
18.
Oh,
The shield comes up.
It swoops down and you block it with your shield. And this thing, you are very deftly managing to hold off 2 of them now at this point. And the other one is also going to attack you that was already attacking you. Nope, not a chance. Nope, you are just too armored. And so then the last one is going to go for the snake person because they hate snakes apparently. Oh, that's a natural 19 on the die. I'm pretty sure.
That is for sure.
Yep, okay.
It was one of the times I was yelling encouragement to Halifax, like, you got this.
So 9 slashing damage.
Ooh, okay.
As it rips across your shoulder with these 2 talons.
The accursed beast got me.
And it is now back up to Hafnas.
The one that is looking a little fresher, I'm going to toll the dead on that one.
Okay. Man, I cannot succeed tonight worth anything.
You did once.
You did
You're
once.
right, I did.
You just whopped me.
That's true. That's true.
Thanks a lot.
And
You're a mean DM.
it is injured, right? So it's going to be a D12, but it's still only 5 necrotic damage.
It's enough to kill it. How do you kill it?
Oh, it just like explodes from necrotic vibrations, spreading gore, on the wall. It looks like one of those fancy New Age paintings.
It's a Jackson Pollock.
You see, he tolls the dead, and once again, these sound waves hit it, and it just starts vibrating in this really weird way before all over this wall.
The city she sings to me.
And it is now Yofa once again.
So this one's like right up in my face.
There's one right up in your face.
I'm gonna disengage and then fire right in its toothy maw.
Okay. Are you doing an action search to do that, or you have a bonus action to do that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Whoa! 19 plus something. 6, 25.
25. That definitely hits.
7 piercing.
Explain how it dies gruesomely.
Oh yeah. It actually, so we're sort of like backed out as a sort of like a porch on the front.
Mm-hmm.
I shoot it and it like pins it to the ceiling, like a sort of a near above Faz's head, like it, like the impact. It's like continues and like embeds itself in the porch ceiling.
Okay, so it's
and then maybe it just like,
and this arrow just
yeah,
it's stuck there now. You have decorated the porch. Good job.
Nice.
And that brings us to Faz. There is one left.
So I'll kind of like get a beat on it to try to take my breath, steady myself as best as possible, and I will launch a ray of frost at it.
Okay.
Does a 14 hit?
14 hits.
Then that is 5 points of cold damage. And if it's somehow still alive, its speed is reduced.
Describe how it dies very gruesomely.
So it freezes in air and just like begins to shatter. So like it rains pieces by being so cold.
So as it's gliding, it just is raining pieces off of it and shatters against this wall. And you guys are now able to enter the foyer.
I flick my blade clean as I head towards my companions and sheath it, and I
You're
pat
pretty. Okay.
I pat Yufa on the shoulder. Well done, my friend. Let the city smile upon you, and you get 9 back.
Oh,
Ooh,
Lay on
very
hands.
you're a much more grim defender of the city than I anticipated. I kind of had you pegged for like a goody goody.
nice. And chat, I need from you to give me 3 girls' names.
What do you mean by goody goody? I actually once used to work for the lady. I don't think she knows, because I went by a different name then, several different names actually. But you know, I was following that path for a while, and something happened that made me rethink my life. And while I was grappling with this turmoil, the spirit of the city came to me and convinced me there might be another way. So now I serve the city and its denizens, all of them. Foul, dark, good, light. It does not matter. They're all parts of the city.
Well, usually those who strap themselves in shiny armor and emblazoned sigils upon their shield expect every law to be followed, every person on the wayside to be helped. It can get quite droll.
Oh, I didn't put this on my shield. It appeared one day when I accepted the blessing of the city. And also, the armor is quite useful. I mean, did you not see? Did you not see those things?
I did, and you know what? The door served as quite adequate cover.
Well, there's not always a door to hide behind.
Then there was
But,
Meg.
but at least for this venture, there is a you to hide behind.
Well, that may very well be true. And if I may lend my strength or just stand in the way, so be it.
Well, the city has certainly provided help to you as well, it seems. I'm feeling much better.
Also, I move very slowly, so I have a speed of 20 because I'm not strong enough to wear my armor.
Awesome.
Hmm.
I think taking it slow and steady is the best course. Now, did that riddle give any clues as to where in here it might be?
Below, we must go downwards.
That's a good as clue of any. And with that infernal sun coming up, I'm keen to get out of this light. At least until the serpent gods eat it. Is there any kind of what kind of egresses are there from this main room?
Well, you can see that there is a lounging couch, as is sort of customary in foyers. You see there are some tables with broken pottery shards. You see a painting right there in the foyer, hanging above the large mantle that rests in and underneath the balcony where the 2 twin stairs meet and converge before splitting off again. And there's like a chimney on that landing behind it to vent it out. And above that mantle, you see a portrait with a very regally dressed man, woman, and 3 young girls. Anyone who wants to can give me a history check.
Sure. I'm sort of looking at it and going like this to see if the eyes follow me as I.
That is, no lie, another 19.
I got a
21.
Nerdarchy N. I got a Nerdarchy N for a total of 23.
Nice.
So, as you guys are looking up at this painting, you see one of them, and just for whatever reason, Hafnas, you immediately instinctually know this one's name is Ophelia. And it's like, oh yeah, you've learned that. That's a thing they taught. That's a thing you remember from your historical lore of the city. You and then Foz, you well, how would you know one of their names?
Oh, like this is all related to the house. Like this is all things that I was deeply interested in this story because of their magical and experimental nature.
Okay. And so you immediately recognize that the one that's sort of famous for being the most experimental of them, her name is Sylvania. And you guys can't remember the third. You can't quite remember it. And that's when Yofa comes in clutch and he's like, oh, that person? Yofa, you're aware that person is Regina. And thank you to Nicholas Schubert and Raven Thylacine, I hope I said that correctly, for offering the names.
And he knows it because that painting's worth money on the black market.
Makes sense. Also, there is a super chat from Tech and Motorcycle says, so glad to be here. Even if I'm lost jumping in, haha, roll them Nerdarchy dice. Nerdarchy rocks. Thank you.
Thank you. It's odd that there's so much wreckage and carnage in this building, but this painting survived so well. I want to go over to the painting and see if I can't take it off the wall.
Careful.
In fact, you can. And when you do, you notice the painting seems to have been fairly immaculately kept, actually.
And I want to look at the wall behind it and also at the back side of the painting.
The wall behind the painting seems to be much cleaner. Of note, the painting itself doesn't have any soot or smoke damage on it. You once again, you kind of sense this almost ethereal scent that would be residual magic.
Yeah, kind of mystified. I'm gonna take my gauntlet off and run my fingers down the painting to kind of feel it.
And when you feel it, you get this really interesting sensation. It's almost like you're touching the surface of water that pushes back like a magnet, so that you can't actually touch the surface of the painting, but rather there's this film of arcane energy that is just pushing back to keep you from actually touching the painting surface.
This is odd. But I guess they wanted their children protected, and I'll say the names aloud.
Oh. Yeah, what were they? Regina?
Ophelia, Regina.
Sylvania?
Yep.
Yep.
Are you sure that won't summon some sort of specter?
Don't know. Already did it.
As he's saying the last name. Just for
And you do notice that there are actually two hallways that go further back underneath this, the balcony on either side. One of them is closed behind a door.
Let's just take the painting and kind of set it off to the side. Perhaps we should take that when we leave. It seems, I don't know, it seems kind of wrong to leave it here.
A valuable thing like this, yes, it definitely seems wrong to leave it behind.
Do we hear anything? Any other sounds?
You hear what sounds almost like crying coming from behind the door.
Oh, open it.
You open the door and you hear, it's very distant. It's feminine. It sounds like intensely pained crying. It's like that subtle whimpering, quivering sob.
I will speedily march in that direction at my reduced speed.
Okay. As you do, something crunches under your foot.
I look down.
There is an owlbat corpse that is withered and drained of everything. It's very grayed. The feathers have fallen out, and the skin is shriveled tight against the skeleton.
Oh, like desiccated.
Yeah, very much so.
Hmm.
You
Either
take
of
a few.
you know what might have done this?
Is it like just inside the doorway? Like you took like one step in and just...
Yeah.
I make a medicine check.
Sure, go for it. Make a medicine check.
whatever it is has been found the favor of the serpent cats.
That is a 16.
Okay, 1 second here. I am currently giving Doug a note because he got a natural 20 on that knowledge check, and I haven't given him his whispers yet. But anyway, yes, so you can tell this was definitely desiccated. Definitely desiccated.
Does it look like it was done through magic, or does it look like there was any kind of like needle that might have drained things?
When you look closely, you can find what looks to be it looks almost like these teeth marks.
Okay.
A mouth has bitten into it, but it's not just like two fangs. It's like a whole like mouth ridge of fangs.
Okay.
Clamping
Sucker.
down.
Would I be able to gauge the size of the creature based on the bite?
You would gauge that the mouth would be roughly the size of the palm of your hand.
So whatever did this, I believe, is quite large.
Does it look natural or?
I mean, usually things that drink the blood of another creature are not typically natural.
Good point.
I mean, leeches drink the blood and mosquitoes drink the blood. That'd be one big mosquito.
No, it wasn't like a single, stab of a needle, like a large mosquito. And leeches tend to, only take a little bit because they latch on to things that are bigger. This is something big eating something small.
Well, there's crying coming from down there. It is either someone needs help or it is a trap.
Well, in both of those cases, there's not a glorious and beautiful jewel in a subterranean area.
While that's true, if this is a potential enemy, do we want to leave them at our back?
What does the city tell you? Do you hear anything now?
Also, if it's someone that needs help, I think we should investigate. I will use divine sense and then move in that direction.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, what does divine sense let you sense again?
Let's see. Know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet of you that is not behind total cover.
So as you're moving, your divine sense does not ping any of those creature types.
Okay.
You do crunch on a couple more of these desiccated owl bats. And you also kick what looks like a book that was on the floor.
Oh, I will kind of like step over it and with my heel push it back towards Faz. That seems like his kind of thing. Continuing moving forward with my sword drawn and looking around, but also looking up because owl bats fly and they tend to roost up high. So
you don't see any owl bats. In fact, it's weird. It's almost like you notice a distinct lack of owl bats in this area.
And this is it a hallway?
It is a hallway. There are doors on both ends. And the crying seems to be coming from the last door on the left.
Yeah, I'm going to head that way.
Okay.
I
And
will reach down and pick up the book.
Okay. So
I'm just
you pick up the
cautiously
book.
following.
Do you thumb through it or you pocket it?
Look at the spine, see if there's anything on the spine or the cover.
You see that it is labeled diary.
I will certainly open it up and see if it's marked by any of the ladies that used to live here.
Okay. So as you're thumbing through, give me an investigation check to do so quickly and efficiently.
Sure. That's not going to be good. That's a 10.
10. You see Ophelia, and you see she's mentioned several times. You get the sense this person has some sort of like rivalry going on with Ophelia. You get the sense that when Sylvania is mentioned, it's usually in a more supportive, though vaguely fearful of the writer sort of way. There are multiple mentions of the parents being afraid of the writer, of Ophelia just doesn't understand, keeps being mean to me, things like that. And Sylvania, she's the only one that cares, but even she doesn't like me, things of that nature.
So clearly, this must be Regina's.
She was an aberrant sorcerer. Strange stories about alien influences on her bloodline and unusual abilities.
See, that is just an excellent talking point. It marvels that someone would ostracize someone so interesting.
Indeed. Do you think that her aberrant magic may be the source of the crying that our companion is heading towards imminently right now?
Could be possible.
Let's call it an experiment. He's the control group. Let's see what happens.
I like the way you.
I'll keep an arrow knocked though, but just sort of like to back up Phineas, but not like I'm not following him closely.
So for the time being, I'll put the put the book in my pack. I will again ready my rod.
Okay. Alphinius, as you approach this door, you reach towards the handle and you feel this sort of like static buildup and it just shocks you a little bit.
before I touch it, or
Like just as you're reaching towards it, it shocks you just a little bit and you're realizing that the hairs on the back of your neck are starting to stand up a little bit. And it just feels like the air is very charged here.
I've got a bad feeling about that, and I just like rock back on my left leg, bringing my right knee up to my chest and kicking out at the door handle.
Okay, so you said you kicked the door handle, or
Yeah. Basically, I'm like, this is Sparta, the door.
okay. Go ahead and give me a athletics check.
Oh, that's where it all went wrong. Yep. Well, that's a 2 because I rolled a 1.
Okay, so you feel a crack as you sprain your ankle, smashing on this door, and it is still there and solid.
Wow, after all this time, you think it would have worn down a little bit, but apparently not.
Faz and I had developed a theory. One of the sisters had aberrant magic in their blood. We think that might have been the source of this crying. And we were going to see if we were right when you kicked the door in.
Well, I did not kick the door in, so I guess we still don't know.
How big is this place?
Now I feel scientific curiosity.
The mansion is pretty big. It's like, I'm trying to think of a good way to say it without just saying feet. It would definitely comfortably house like a full staff of servants.
Right, let me ask it this way. If Halfinius here were bigger, would it be a problem?
No.
Are you going to introduce a new variable into the experiment?
It is possible. Halfinius, would you like to be bigger for a time?
You mean like enhancing magic?
Yes.
Sure.
Well, the question is, do we think that there is a fight on the other side of this door? Magic will not last overly long, and we have not checked to see if it is merely just closed or locked.
There
Does it
is
look
a
like-
charge coming from it, an energy.
I'll reach
Does
out. I'll touch the doorknob.
Okay. You
Same
get a small
sensation?
static shock.
Is there any doors on that same side of the hallway that would be like an adjoining room?
Not that you can tell. You'd have
Okay.
to open them.
I'm gonna go to the one before that one on the same wall and sort of see if the handle opens. Or no, you know what? I'll listen first.
Okay. You don't hear anything particularly menacing on the other side.
No, say, Faz, before you use your magic, we might check out this room. Maybe there's another way into there. Or whatever's, if there is something in there, might not expect that.
And so be it.
What do you think, Halfinius?
The other door was like on the opposite side of the hall, right?
There is an adjacent door as well. So they're like doors lining the hall,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah, we could try that, and we'll do that.
All right, I'll just sort of give that a little turn and see if that opens.
It opens. You get a little bit of static shock. It's not quite as pronounced as the one from the end of the hall.
Okay.
And you open it up and you see a bedroom, and it does not lead into the other room.
Okay.
Is it? And it's an interior room.
It is an interior room.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess there's only one way to find out then.
Indeed.
And I will just open the door.
All right, you open the door, and what was once extremely muffled crying is much less muffled crying as it's coming up, echoing, bouncing off this spiral stairway downward.
The city did lead you true. I stand corrected.
Well, let us be off then.
Does anyone have a light source?
I've been relying on dark vision.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
We got dark vision, and I can cast prestidigitation.
Okay. So you guys see it's in tones of gray pretty quickly because this is not a lit stairway, but it is just a spiral stairway downward. It eventually leads down into this storage looking area. There are broken pieces of furniture, things that you would more or less keep in a basement.
And there's just like a intermittent crying in the air.
It's coming from deeper in. As you navigate the maze of junk, you find it leads into another room. And in this room, it goes deeper down, and you see that it's actually in what looks like a more proper looking dungeon is the closest word I can come up with. It is behind a barred door, and it seems that the crying is coming from behind this door.
Dungeon is almost like as in like jail kind of.
Yeah, like a jail type dungeon.
Oh,
as opposed
really?
to like
Family jail dungeon. Yeah.
Oh, man.
We don't kink shame here. Whatever they were into, that's on
not
them.
very common in this world or area. Like this is not a ruling person. This is not like the premier lord. So having a dungeon in the basement of your manor is a little interesting and different.
Depends on what kind of parties you like to throw.
This is only making Pa's more interested.
So, the door, does it have bars on it that you can look through, or is it a solid door?
Yeah, it's actually made of bars, so you can just look through it easily.
Oh yeah. So what's in there?
You see, when you look in, give me an investigation or a perception roll, your choice.
I will investigate. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So you do see that there seems to be a hole in this ceiling of this area. And the hole would probably go up into one of the rooms upstairs.
Hmm.
And you see as well that there is vague motion moving fluidly beyond the door.
I'm going to divine sense that again.
Okay, it doesn't ping.
Okay.
You see, it's almost like it looks like it might be a flying bear, or something. It's really strange, but it's hovering. It's almost like it's swimming through the air. And you see what looks like maybe braids or something coming off of it.
Either of you ever seen anything like this?
I'm going to say no. Is that right, Stephen?
Just for the heck of it, give me a history roll. You're an interesting race.
All right, 10.
10. Nope.
It's like a.
Oh, this is quite peculiar. Flying bears are not something that one really comes across, let alone flying above a dungeon, underground.
Do we still hear the crying?
Yeah, you hear the crying. It's very loud now coming from this person. You just hear this, "Mm,
I've got to be honest, if we're going to spend any more time down here, I'd rather silence that crying than find the gem.
so lonely. I just don't want to be alone."
Hello?
And you see it stop. And this orbicular body turns to face you and floats towards you from the shadows. And you see an orb sort of body with a single red eye in the middle. And there are these wafting tentacles, like squid tentacles, hovering around it. Anyone who wants to can make an Arcana check to know what this is.
Yeah, I'm trained in that.
And you can also make an investigation or perception check if you want for a different thing.
I got
12 on Arcana.
I got a 15 on Arcana.
14.
Okay.
On
21 on investigation.
Okay, so we'll start with Yofa.
Okay.
Yofa, this is a death kiss.
Death kiss. What do I know about them? I mean, not like mechanically. Like, what's their shtick? Are they like?
It is a type of beholder.
Okay.
And it drinks blood through its tentacles.
Ooh.
Hmm.
And you see the way it's speaking is actually from these mouths on these tentacles.
It's the source of that crying.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And Alphinius, you recognize with your investigation, you see that the eye of this doesn't look like a natural eye. It looks like a gemstone. It's a big red gemstone.
I think the hunter has smiled on us this day.
And the thing wafts towards you, and this mouth
But there's like bars
on the
between
tentacle extends through the bars to who was it that called out?
Faz.
Foz. So the tentacle just comes up to in front of you, and you see this mouth on the tentacle, and it says, "Who are you?"
Most just refer to me as Faz. Who are you?
I don't even know anymore. I used to have a name and a family.
Regina was your name.
It
Well,
was.
did Foz share the information from the book with us, or did you kind of look at it and go, "Oh, okay"?
I had shared it with
With me.
with Yufa.
Yeah.
It was one time.
But your family locked you up down here, didn't they?
They did. They
We'll
didn't
be
like
pleased to know
me.
they've all perished.
They were afraid of me.
As well they should be. You have power far greater than theirs.
Dad thought he could make me into something he could use. It hurt. It hurt so much. The eye, it hurts. He didn't like what I was already. Said I should be more.
Can you excuse us for one moment?
And the tentacle just withdraws and she starts like hovering back around in that area again.
Huddle up. I believe we need that gemstone that's in her face, and that can't be good for her.
She seems to be in a lot of pain.
We could end her suffering. I believe I was sent here for a purpose.
What do you think, Faz? This seems like
So
it seems as if she's been chained. Do you think there's any possibility of changing her back? Or is it too far gone?
do not
Just
know.
gotta like peek over at the weird thing. What's it doing while we're
Is-
huddling up?
Is
It's
this
just hovering around.
is this a process of alteration through this gemstone, through her own magic?
Sounds like that might be the case. Perhaps her family experimented on her.
Would we be able to remove the gemstone and then see what might be left of her and attempt to find a new life? I mean, I've found that there's always another way of looking at things. If we were to just end her for our own gain, that sounds not like the best path.
It might be a merciful one.
I agree that-
Also, I don't think you're going to be able to just remove that thing. Looking at the eye, it's like a part of her face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, that's going to be like cutting out your eye.
There are worse things that can be done. And she says that she is in pain. Well, what if the pain is coming from the attachment of the eye?
I think whether the eye is causing pain or not, cutting it out is going to hurt too.
Maybe there's some. I mean, according to her, it was embedded in her, presumably some magical way, in this place. There may be a way. You know, the method of doing it may be here as well, or undoing it.
Perhaps a conversation and a bit of investigation might garner more information.
Perhaps we just return Regina here to the lady and let her work it out.
Not a bad idea. Maybe it was a test.
No,
for her. She may have wanted.
I find that plan leaves a foul taste in the mouth. This would end Regina so that this one might retrieve that she wishes. How much time do we have If we were to leave right now, how much time to play do we have to make before midnight?
You're probably sitting at like late morning at this point, like 10, 11 o'clock.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was just
So we still have over 12 hours. And how much travel time does it take to get from here back to the Queen?
Maybe an hour.
Maybe an hour. All right. So we've got 10 hours of wiggle room if need be.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been sustaining yourself upon, child? Knowing damn well it was Albats.
The flying creatures.
So you can get in and out of your cage?
I can. But this is home. This is where I live. Not me, but me.
Let me ask a question, if you don't mind. And I'll pull out the diary. Does this offer any recollection to you?
That I wrote in that long before Father did what he did.
Is there anything in here about what Father did?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I would imagine it's near the end.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
Where did Father do what he did to you?
I'll begin flipping through, looking for any notes.
Further in. Further in.
Further in here, and I point into the cell.
Yes. Further in here.
just knowing what I know of little snippets of Regina lore and being confronted by this, does it seem like she's trying to just lure us in by being, kind of docile?
Make an insight check.
I'm trained in that.
And while you guys are doing that, you can make an investigation or an arcana check.
I got a 15.
That's a 9. The one time I make a skill check that I'm actually trained in something.
So you just find it hard to read.
Okay, yeah, very alien.
And Yofa, you sense that this creature is not being deceptive. You sense that it's more hopeless.
Interesting.
I wanna try and open the cell.
Okay, you
I have
get
a 20.
shock when you do.
I have
Oh,
a 21 on Arcana to figure out information in the book.
Okay. By piecing together the excerpts, you realize that this was a process. It wasn't like a single operation that was one and done. And you get the sense that the father was likely fascinated with the idea of having an alien mind, but he didn't like the physical alterations that were happening to his daughter as a result of her magic.
Mm-hmm.
And while it's not fully clear how it happened, you get the idea that the father basically magically took his daughter's mind and put it into something that he would find suited her magic more and was more wasn't considered his daughter.
Oh, so he didn't transform her, he transferred her mind. Did he swap minds with her? Is that what you're suggesting, Faz?
No, I believe he found another creature. I'm guessing subdued it. And I mean, this is more advanced magic than what I've come across. I've heard of such things, but it's beyond what I've considered worthwhile experimentation.
Regina, what happened to your mortal form?
It's here. Still here.
I want to look around and see if there's a way to enter the cell. There's a way to deactivate maybe whatever's doing it. And you said I got shocked. Did I take damage?
No, but you get the sense if you were to like try to interact with this for a period of time,
Mhm.
you would begin taking lightning damage. And you do sense that this lightning is almost statically discharging from the creature.
Mm.
Based on my 21 Arcana roll, and the fact that she said her body is still here, do I have any kind of thought pattern of being able to switch her back, or is this like so far out of my league it's ridiculous?
It seems like there was a machine involved. If you could find the machine, you might be able to do it again.
Okay, all right. Faza's pumped. So,
How are you doing over there, Phineas?
Well, I'm not quite sure how we can get in there. This thing is full of energy.
do you still prefer being referred to as Regina, as that was who you used to be?
Oh, yes. It's who I am.
Well, based on the notes that you have put here and a little bit of my own deduction, if your body is here and the machine that your father uses here, perhaps we might be able to solve this little problem and put you back in the body that you belong in.
You do have arms and fingers, which are better than mine. You could probably do it.
Would you be able to show us so that we might be able to accomplish this goal faster?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Is there any change in her tonality? Like,
While still very lilting, she sounds less sad. There's not that forlorn, gloomy tone.
okay,
Interesting.
So you can give me an Arcana check if you want.
oh, uh-huh. Utter crap. That was a 9.
A 9.
9.
Okay. So it's not super difficult to at least recognize that the source of the static electricity on the door is coming directly from her and her proximity to it.
Oh. Do you tell us that?
Oh yeah, sorry. So, if you have got the ability to float back through the hole, you could glide upwards. We could get this door open. Apparently, your current form is exuding an electrical current that is
I totally thought that was a pun intentional.
to our more mortal forms.
I will go then and come back. And she floats up, almost like swimming through the air, through that hole overhead. And after several seconds, you don't feel that static electricity feel that you were feeling. You open the door easily. It's not even difficult to do. And she comes down and leads you through these passages to a machine where you see an adult woman's body in this sort of glass chamber
Oh my god.
floating in this liquid. And it has,
she has like a child's
device
personality.
connected onto her head. Huh?
But she has like a child's personality, it seems like.
It seems like something was stunted along the way, but that happens with trauma sometimes.
I was thinking maybe if she'd been here that long, like her body grew to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
Well, how old was
Oh man, that's
how old was the woman or the Regina in the painting?
they were like kids, weren't
Like
they?
5. This body looks to be like maybe late 20s, early 30s.
So let us set about figuring out these machines and see if we can't switch her back.
So I will look through the notes some more, getting as many clues as I can.
Yeah, I'll look around the room, see if there's any notes to help him or any, like,
I feel like they're better at that kind of thing. I want to examine the woman in the glass. I want to see if I notice, like, maybe some eye movement, some REM, something going on. When we put her back, are we putting something else back in the creature?
You, when you look closely, make a roll, make an investigation check or
All right.
perception, your choice.
All right, I will investigate. That's a 17.
So you see that the tubes and things are probably maintaining bodily functions, and that and have been basically keeping this body alive. You don't see any sort of like eye movement underneath or anything like that, though. But you do see that like the chest is heaving with breath, so like there is breath being put in here. In order to accomplish this task, it is going to require an athletics check to actually flip the switch when you do it. It's going to require an investigation check to make sure everything is hooked up properly. And it's going to require an arcana check to understand how to conduct the magic properly. So you three have to choose who's doing what check. It's a complex test.
Yeah.
I have equal chances at all of those.
My highest thing.
And equal reason to
I would be good at investigation or the arcana.
Oh yeah, I guess I would be best at the arcana out of those three. I'm a little better at that, but not much.
Okay, well then I will do the investigation.
Unless I can persuade it or deceive it, I don't or perform. Yeah. You both probably have higher checks than me. My best is investigation, which is probably lower than what you guys have.
My investigation's a 6.
Oh yeah, that's way higher than me.
Oh, I chose enlarge, reduce, not
although I guess if you were to cast enlarge on me, I could flip the switch.
I don't know. Would that be helpful in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, it's advantage on your on athletics checks.
Okay. Well, then I will go ahead. I will cast that spell.
So he's gonna do that. And what is Faz doing?
Well, I said I have a 6 in both history and arcana, so I could do either. But if you think your arcana is better than your investigation, you can do arcana, and I'll do investigate.
Okay. And what is the arcana actually doing?
So you have to be able to communicate how to adequately conduct the magic, to salvage the mind that is trapped in the body of this beholder and put it into the thing properly.
Okay, so in that sense, yes, I'm acting as Faz's like lab assistant as he's actually doing the stuff. I'm like, it says to do this, and then okay. I was just trying to.
And remember, Doug, you still have inspiration.
Oh, I thought I just had a chance to give it to you. I got it as well.
Yeah, you got it as well.
Oh, cool. Well, then, yeah, I mean, I'm totally.
All right, so go ahead and make those rolls. Let's see if you succeed or fail.
Yeah.
Well, one of my rolls is a 1, but the other one is a 15, giving me a 16.
Nice.
Okay.
24.
Thank you for the enlarge. 20. And also, when we have to fight this beholder thing, it might be useful too.
I got 22.
Okay. So you first we have Yofa, who explains exactly how this machine needs to be hooked up to the creature itself. He begins attaching these different clamps and rings that need to be tightened and things to this death kiss so that it maintains the mind in the best way possible, positioning it at all the key points that most monks would know about. Knowing how energy flows through the body and life force and things like that. And so you get everything hooked up properly. Next, it comes to Faz, who begins turning on the machine, starting the sequences in the proper order. And then the last thing that's required is to flip the switch. and you see this double-sized, enlarged version of Alphinius grab onto the lever and flip the switch with a thunk. And the entire machine begins firing up, lightning firing from the machine itself. It almost looks briefly like the machine is drawing power from this creature as this eerie green lightning is striking at various points, narrowly missing you. You hear this just blood-curdling screech as the death kiss unleashes this unholy sound, and the body inside the tube begins convulsing. And after several seconds, what feels like an eternity of anguish and pain and excruciating danger, the entire machine begins popping and smoke begins pouring from it. And you, Foz, shout that it's time to turn it off. And Phineas once again just pulls and slots it down with a thunk. And the gemstone slides out cleanly from this now limp, withered body of this death kiss. And you see the body of the woman inside the tube just suddenly come to awareness and begin pounding on the glass.
That's right. It's like
Break her out, grab my shield, and try and get her out. Unless there's like an obvious, like, open the door.
You break the glass, and she sloshes out with this slurry of viscous, watery liquid that she comes out, and with your arcana checks and your investigation check, you can unhook the technology from her so that she's now free from the machine.
I'll, extend a hand and help her to her feet. Support her only if she actually requires it, or is like seems like she needs it or wants it.
She
overpress.
Her legs wobble as she starts to stand, and she falters several times before finally standing and just feeling her body. Am I me?
I'll reach down and take her hands and kind of bring them up towards her face so she can see them. I think you are.
Thank you. And she wraps her arms around you in a hug.
I'll hug her back and give her the rest of my lay on hands to kind of like get the blood flowing again, and use it to get rid of like conditions, because she's been like probably laying in that test tube for a long time. Help her regain her feet.
Like decades, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This radiant energy begins washing over her in ripples as you see the color returns to her skin very quickly. So her skin that was once like very pale, almost ghostly white, has returned to its natural amber hue. And you see that this slick sort of liquid that was on her almost pours away with the magic, and her long black hair is just dried with this energy. And she looks around for something to cover herself. And
I'll give her my cloak. was she naked?
Yeah, and she wraps herself up in it. And
we probably would have done that sooner.
Yeah,
that would realize she was naked.
I was not even thinking.
Yeah,
that's how pure Ted is. He wouldn't even cross his.
It's true. Sorry.
No, I wasn't thinking that either. Yeah, totally.
Well, it was very traumatic at the time too. She was hooked up to a machine.
Yeah.
So she takes your cloak and thanks you and puts it on and just kind of folds it over into a makeshift dress and looks down with her arms sort of hugging herself at the body that she used to inhabit, and the very large, like chest-sized gemstone of pure red.
Does she appear cold?
Not anymore, thanks to that lay on hands. It kind of restored her back to what she needed.
Well, this is what we came for, and I guess we get to help you as well. Let's get you out of here and find something. One, get you some clothes. I mean, we can probably between the three of us, we can root through our packs and give you some stuff, but it probably won't fit very well. But we'll get you something better and find you something to eat.
Thank you. Thank you. This it's like waking up from a nightmare.
Do you remember how the house was destroyed or damaged?
Mother was furious with what father had done. She set it ablaze with her magic. She was so enraged she didn't let anyone out first. It
Were
was
you
a
a child
travesty.
when all of this happened?
You cut out.
I said, were you a child when all of this happened?
Yes. I don't know if anyone made it out or not.
Well, if not, we have a slightly larger than wallet-sized family portrait you can take with you as a consolation prize.
And technically, you would be the lady of the family now with your manner. And as I understand it, your family's influence to reclaim.
And maybe I will do that.
I would
Can
be,
I come with you?
I would be inclined to offer what aid I would. Should
I
you?
don't want to be here tonight.
Oh,
Well,
but of
no, we're
course.
going to go someplace and get you something warm to eat and, clothes that actually fit you. We have rooms in a tavern in the city, so.
So,
Do you feel that you could walk?
yes. Yes. Thank you again. And she looks to Alphinius for the help. And she walks with you guys all the way back to the city. You get her fed and clothed in plenty of time. And what do you take with you from the house?
I have her book still
Mm-hmm.
from the house itself. I don't know if any of you guys wanted to bring the portrait or leave it there for her.
Yeah, it was pretty big, and we were with her. But I would maybe said like, even to her, like, well, let's hide it. This is very valuable, and if anybody comes in, while you're gone, you wouldn't want them to take it, so we'll like hide it somewhere in the house.
Yeah, I don't think I would do any like looting of the house with her right there. Clearly, the owner of the house is here, so whatever is in it is technically hers.
And a job's a job. We were hired. We paid to bring this gem back.
Obviously, we take the gem.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the mission. And when Alphinius said, "Hey, we came here for this," she didn't say anything like, "That's mine." So that to me, that's the pass.
Okay.
At some point along the journey, that I might ask my two companions, of like, do you think Madame Halliday knew anything about that gem and why she might want it?
Well, can you look at it?
So I will take a look, and I can detect magic on it.
Maybe we should take some time and look at it before we just hand it over.
Is Madame Halliday, like, what's known about her? Generally.
She is sort of the person who, wink, wink, has nothing to do with crime in the city.
Okay.
In every sense, wink, wink. She runs the local speakeasy, wink, wink.
Okay.
But she is sort of like your premier crime boss in the city of Queensbridge. Anything that is crime in the city has a connection to her or will very quickly be shut down by her.
I mean, if a woman of her knowledge has to have known the story behind this gem.
When you examine it, go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
For sure.
Then a sanity save.
15.
15. You know that with the aid of machines and sometimes multiple casters, you can theoretically bend the laws of casting to allow for more potent spells to be done or performed, and more potent than what would normally be considered within the limits of that person or whatever. And so this gem would be one such reagent necessary to perform this very specific thing. It was probably carved to fit into the eye socket of the creature, but otherwise, this is a reagent, a binding agent
Okay.
that
So
was not
Share
consumed.
that. I would share that kind
Yeah.
of fully with the other two.
Okay.
Wow, we know something about Madame Holiday's business. That could be useful.
A further bargaining chip.
Mm-hmm. Or just something to know about other people in the world.
Hmm.
So, do you guys go to Madame Holiday alone?
Yeah, we would not subject Regina to her.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys go back to the speakeasy that night just after dusk. You say the secret word to get downstairs, and Madame Holiday is sitting there on her throne, and sitting on an equally opulent but much smaller lounging couch is another woman. And you don't have to make a roll to recognize a distinct resemblance between her and the woman that you just rescued.
Oh, that was the client.
And Madame Holiday greets you. I trust you brought what I asked for, seeing as it's not midnight and you've returned already. By the way, this is my wife, Sylvania.
I'll nod towards her.
Foz certainly perks up at that. The one who is far more interested in experimentation.
We recognized you from the family portrait.
Did you know that this is the gift your wife was sending us for?
She looks at the gem. What did you do to the creature that was attached?
Why do you ask?
It's been disposed of.
Then perhaps, and she runs her hand over the gemstone, and you see her eyes flicker with light. And Foz, you'd recognize she's detecting magic.
Mm-hmm.
You won't
Where
find
is she?
Regina in there.
Did you kill her?
No,
We disposed of the creature and to get the gem as you requested.
How did you get her mind out of the gem? Where is it?
That wasn't part of the request.
And she looks to Madame Holiday, and
We were-
she
we
just
were-
sort of shrugs.
She's like a concerned mom, right?
It's her
Like,
sister.
oh, it's her sister. Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
sorry.
sister.
Well, wait, what did she in that diary you shared with us? She seemed Sylvania was like teasing?
Sylvania was the one who cared.
Yeah, she was the concerned one.
Oh, okay.
Your sister is alive.
And you see she just almost half faints back into this couch.
Had anyone else been sent but this group, she probably would not be.
As long as they brought back the gemstone, we could revive her.
Well,
You won't need to.
we went further than that. We used the device your father used in reverse.
Then Your agents really do know how to pick well. She looks to Madame Holiday, who just smirks.
What if someone else had done this and had tried to obtain it through violence and the gemstone had been damaged?
Her mind, as far as my arcane studies can tell, would have remained in the gemstone intact, unless you explicitly tried to destroy it, and since I sent you for the stone, there should have been no reason for that.
Things happen in the heat of battle.
Those who swing weapons towards enemies, there's always the chance that that kind of thing can happen. But thankfully, we had our wits about us.
I suppose it's a very good thing indeed, then. And she smiles, and you see these, like, gnarled teeth.
Who, Sylvania?
No,
Oh,
Madame
Madam.
Holiday. As promised.
Would you like to meet your sister again?
Of course.
I sort of like look at my companions like, should we?
Can I want to just get a final read on Sylvana and make sure that she's actually being genuine.
Okay. Give me an insight check.
8.
8. Hard to read.
So
She seems fairly earnest from what you can tell.
I want to look to Madame Holiday. So the gem was never the gift.
Not exactly, no. In fact, consider it part of your reward.
So I bow to the women. I bow to my companions. I will retrieve her if you don't mind. I'll go back to our tavern and come back with Regina.
All right. You do that, and it is a tearful reunion, complete with hugs and catching up and all of the introductions.
I feel
Madam
twinges of
Holiday.
emotion, and it shames me that I am imperfect in this way.
Over the next week, you begin to see the fruits of your rewards come to be. You learn that your debt is forgiven. You find that you have been given abundant treasure, enough to pay off not only your debt and what they claimed you owed extra, but to also set up yourself with a small house if you so desire. You are in possession of all of the jewels that you found on the way there that you are just allowed to keep. And the last thing that Madame Holiday bequeaths to all of you are these tiny charms in the shape of what looks almost like a feather. And there's a red stripe and an orange stripe and a yellow, a green, a blue, and a violet. If you should ever need to get hold of me, don't come back here again.
Okay, then.
If you
And
should ever need services again, you know how to find us.
and she gives you your gems. So should you choose to go on another job for Madame Holiday in the future, you can. And if we end up ever coming back to these characters again, consider yourselves level 4.
Ooh, the best prize of all.
So you are no longer wanted by the law. You may be wanted for other jobs, but congratulations, adventurers. You survived your first proper job.
Yeah.
That's where we're leaving it. So Dave, I'm going to shoot it to you, sir.
Well, thanks for running, and thanks for everyone who watched. That was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed this character and the session. It was a great adventure. And until
Indeed.
next time, everybody, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.